Living in the Orthodox community is very difficult to explain. It's completely different from normal society, even though we live in the city. Going out from the ultra-Orthodox world, it's like we live in the Middle Ages for an outsider. It seems like a few centuries ago. That's why they're able to function and go on, even though they live in a modern city, because they live very secluded lives and they don't teach their children English, maths, history, geography, or art, or about other cultures, races, or religions. So there is a huge gap between these two worlds. And for me, living in this world, it just seemed impossible anymore.
What was it like as a child growing up in the ultra-Orthodox community?
As a child, I remember being told by my parents and teachers that everything outside is bad outside the community, not only non-Jews, but anybody who doesn't follow the Haredi lifestyle. We were told non-Jews are like cattle. They are born, they mate. They were created to help us, to enable us to sit and learn the Talmud and follow the path given by God. And the reason why the outside world seems so colourful and interesting is because that's all a big pretense in order to create a nice world, so we are drawn there, and our duty in life is not to fall into this trap.
So how much contact would you have with the outside world?
Really nothing at all. It depends, of course, where. Some Haredi live in cities, but they are so secluded there is no chance a child would ever come into contact with a non-Haredi or non-Jew. But some Haredi are secluded even more and live in their own built communities. I was told as long as we keep down, we keep quiet, we don't get an education, we're illiterate, we live for ourselves, then the non-Jew likes that. He doesn't want the Jew to be educated. When I was a child, I didn't need to speak English. Most of these children don't need to speak English because they never come in contact with the outside world. What happens is when they're young, they teach them only very little English, usually the Haredi community that live in the villages. They don't teach anything. What's going to happen is he's going to grow up, get married, he won't need to speak English, he'll have his job in the community. For these few times when he's going to come into contact with the outside world, like if you're going to the doctor or applying for a visa, they rely on the wife, so girls, they give more English and maths education. Because the role of the man is to sit and learn, to give his life for the Torah, and the role of the wife is to work and look after the children.
Is it the case that people in the community have to ask the rabbi before they do anything?
So usually everybody has to have a rabbi to ask questions, whether about practical life, about intimacy or any kosher stuff. Any question he has about Haredi lifestyle or religious beliefs, he has to go to his rabbi. Until you get married, you're not allowed a mobile phone, you're not allowed to watch a DVD or TV, they're both prohibited. Even internet on your mobile, we're not allowed a computer at home. We're not allowed to read any secular stuff, newspapers or books. Haredi community have their own newspapers where they censor the news. Most of it is translated from secular newspapers or from progressive Jewish newspapers. So they have their own newspapers and they sell it in America, written mostly in America and Israel. Information I read was mostly about America. I know better about American politics than UK. I didn't even know who Boris Johnson was. They're all written by a few who really know what's going on. They're a bit more educated themselves. That's how they can read non-Jewish newspaper. They keep it going by feeding the youth misinformation.
So you told me that people who have phones and computers, that their usage is controlled. How does that work?
So they came up with this idea. They had a big community meeting. They set up an organisation of a few technical people that call themselves TAG. Everyone was told, firstly, no one is allowed to have a computer. If you need one for work, you have to ask permission of the rabbi. If his rabbi can see there is a reason why he should have a computer and internet, it has to be only in the office and has to be monitored. So TAG will put a filter in where he's not going to be able to search any websites that could harm his belief in religion or Haredi community. So any social networking websites or Wikipedia or sites that can make him question are all blocked by this agency. They're also able to monitor, to go into your computer from their office and to see exactly where you've gone. If they find you're doing something, they call you to the rabbi. They tell you they know what you're doing. If you don't stop this, we'll throw your kids out of school, and that is one of the worst punishments. The problem is you're going to be like an outcast in the community.
What happened on the day that you left?
I decided to myself, if I'm not happy anyway in my marriage and I've lost my faith in this lifestyle, why should I be a part of it? I felt as if I'm actually helping this community. By not leaving, I'm a part of this. That's the only way they're going to be able to function, by getting people married off so young and having children. I thought to myself, I don't care anymore. It may be that I won't succeed in life. It may be that I will, but it's something that I don't know. But what I do know is if I stay, I definitely won't be happy, not in practical life and not in my head.
So talk us through the day that you left.
When I left, I made a big noise.
You told everyone you were going.
I posted stuff on the internet, I told people I'm leaving. I knew it would create a lot of heat, but I thought maybe there are other boys, young boys. I saw myself as a 14 to 15-year-old boy wanting to leave, but not being able to because of the communal pressures.
Were you allowed just to go?
Yes, of course. As soon as close relatives thought I was going to leave or suspected it, they started sending rabbis and activists to try to talk to me, promising we'll give you a house, we'll give you money, we'll give you friends. They'd make me comfortable, just don't leave. But I decided that won't make me happy. Money is not going to make me happy. What will make me happy is my own choices in life to live as I want to. I said to them, I know what these promises are. These are to make me feel guilty, to make me feel like I owe you my life. The first day when I left, I slept in my car. I didn't know where to go. Then I had a friend who found me a place to stay for a little bit, and I lived on benefits for a while.
Do you think regular people in London have any idea about the community or that all of this is going on?
I think a lot of people know, certainly enough people to change this and to help make it easier for youths who are not happy in the community to leave. There are definitely enough people who can really make a change, but they don't really care because it doesn't affect their lives. It only affects the lives of the children in this Haredi community. And I think the government knows also these children don't have any education. There is evidence, clear evidence of correspondence between government and parents of these schools where there is clear evidence they don't give an education. But the government doesn't seem to be interested because people make their own choices. But the question is it right for the parents to have the choice to deny their children an education? I don't think it's right.
Have you got contact with your family now that you've left?
No, my family, they stopped calling. They don't want to talk to me. For one, they're afraid that by talking to me, they're supporting my choice. They don't want to do that. And secondly, they want to show there are consequences and repercussions. If you leave, you lose your family. They want to discourage others from doing it. And thirdly, they're afraid they'll be influenced by me.
Do you think it will always be like that? Can you see yourself reuniting with your family in a few years' time, maybe?
I think the more people who leave, the more families will change their attitudes. It will become a normal thing that young people leave. Then families will have to start talking about it. It kind of creates that, oh, okay, it's a normal thing. Maybe we should keep contact with him so it makes it easier for him to come back. All they said when I left was, don't worry, in a few months you'll come back to us. No one will help you, you will end up in prison, on the streets, your friends won't be your real friends, we're the only ones that help each other. The only person in my family who still speaks to me is my father, and I respect him for that. The reason he talks to me is to leave the door open for me in case I want to go back one day.
Would you ever go back?
No, never.
And why did you want to tell your story today?
Because I feel and I know there are a lot of other boys in the same situation, in their teenage years, who have so much potential to do better in life and get an education. I don't know if it will happen, but I hope the message will go out for them to see that life is not exactly as they're being told. Life is so different, and so many things they're being told are not true about non-Jews. And even if they want to stay Jewish, there are so many different ways of practicing Judaism, and the Haredi way is definitely not the right way. Because they take away the basic choices of people about whom to marry, what to eat, with whom to interact, and what kind of education they can have. The second thing I want to achieve, one of the main reasons that enabled me to leave, is that when I was young, I got more exposed to the outside world, and there were non-Haredi people who were good to me. They were normal. That switched a button. Hey, it's not true what I was told. There are normal people out there, and maybe I should also live my life like that.